My client shows up for her weekly Zoom call where we talk about nutrition and the new strategies that she is implementing and how things are going. And the first thing she says to me is, Heike, I was really bad this weekend. Hey, it's Heike, and welcome back to the Pursue Your Spark podcast, and welcome to all the new listeners. I'm always excited to be here on the show, which I call you lovingly my igniters. And if you're new to the show, I'm so glad you're joining us to help me help you transform your life in your second half of life. Today's topic is all about habits, the good and the bad habits, as they're oftentimes labeled. And we're looking at them in black or white from at least my experience. But today I want to talk about the 5 transformative habits for midlife mastery. I'm not talking about perfectionism, but mastering those habits that help us transform our midlife, to help us fulfill our dreams, to do the things that we now want to do in our second half of life. So let's look at how making purposeful decisions can transform our midlife into a phase of growth and fulfillment. Ready to get into it? Let's go. My client shows up for her weekly Zoom call where we talk about nutrition and the new strategies that she is implementing and how things are going. And the first thing she says to me is, Heike, I was really bad this weekend. And I sat back wondering, what the heck is she talking about, being really bad? And I said, well, what happened? And she says, Monday through Friday, it's really easy for me to stick to my workouts. I'll get up, do my Pilates on Monday, and then on Wednesday, I'm running, jogging, and so on. And everything goes great. And I eat and I plan my meals. And I know exactly what I'm eating. So I'm having or eating healthy, nutritious meals. And then Friday night rolled around and I said, heck, let's have some wine. There's nothing wrong with having wine, I told her. It's part of what we're doing in our lifestyles, and that some people drink, other people don't. May as it be, but Friday night could be a day where you decided, I just want to let loose, have a little bit of wine, have a little appetizer, maybe a charcuterie board or something like that. And she says, yeah, but then I went all out. I didn't exercise. I had friends over. We went to a party. And now it's summertime and we're going to the wineries on Sunday. And I'm eating all the food that I don't eat normally. And I asked her, what does it mean for her to label them as bad? And she says, well, I've been a bad girl. And this to me always sets off alarm. We are not bad girls or good girls, or we're not labeling ourselves to be anything other than a human being and a woman in our case for our podcast show. But I said, you're not good nor bad. You made a decision to do that this weekend. We'll have to talk about it maybe a little bit more if that happens every weekend. But there is no good or bad. And when we're talking about habits, it's so easy to slap a label on them as they're good and they're bad. But what really determines the nature of a habit? Whether a habit is good or bad depends on how it aligns with your values, goals, and overall well-being. And in my client's case, and I'm not naming names, she stuck to her guns Monday through Friday afternoon. But what was the reason that she fell off her good habits, that she didn't continue them and now labels them as doing bad habits? In most cases, or I'd say all the cases, actually, a good habit moves you closer to your designed outcome, enhances your health, supports your mental well-being, and helps you live in harmony with your personal and your professional life. On the other hand, a bad habit typically pulls you away from your goals, may also harm your health. Over drinking on the weekends, for instance. I used it just as an example. I couldn't think of anything else, and it creates barriers to your personal growth. So in my client's case, she's trying to improve her overall health. Now, that weekend may be a one off once in a while, and that's totally cool. But if it's a every weekend thing, then I told her we need to have a conversation of how to manage what is putting her off track. Think about why you engage in certain habits and the consequences they bring. And in my client's case, it was more like she prolonged her lasting health and wellness goals. The perspective shifts the focus from judgment to understanding why we're doing what we're doing and why we're making those choices and why we want to make mindful choices about which habits to cultivate and which to modify, like her weekend. If it's a one weekend thing, I'll say it again, it's no big deal. But if it's an every weekend thing, we need to modify how the week goes. And I also want you to listen to episode number 70, Building Habits for Everyday Life, with my friends Molly Watts and Angela McDade, that we recorded quite a while back. And it's so valid for the point I'm trying to make. I leave a link in the show notes so you can take a listen. In his book, Atomic Habits, James Cleary talks about the habit loop, a psychological pattern that explains why we do and what we do when habits don't work out. And in his book, he also breaks down 4 critical components that help us understand and potentially reshape our habits or the approach to our habits. And the 4 Qs are cue, craving, response, and reward. And I touch on each one just a little bit up, but I will leave a link in the show notes if you have not read about the Atomic Habits, so you can read up a little bit more in depth about habit building. So the cue is the trigger that starts the behavior. It tells your brain to get into automatic mode and which habit to use. For instance, your phone lights up with a notification. That can be the cue for you to pick up the phone. Number 2 is the craving. The craving is what fuels the habit. It's the motivational force, the why behind why you want to pick up the phone. Without a craving or desire, there's no reason to do anything, right? Or to act. For example, the craving might be the anticipation of connecting with friends that makes you respond to the text or notification. You're thinking, oh man, this is probably Sue. Oh yeah, it is Sue. I want to talk to her because I reached out to her earlier. And number 3 is the response. It's the actual behavior or action you take, which can be physical, mental, or emotional. Whether you act on a craving depends on your motivation levels and whether you can perform the habit considering any potential obstacles. And in our case of the phone, for instance, should you text back in the middle of the meeting or can it wait? Should you answer at that point because you may be in the middle of writing a brief or whatever it is you're doing, driving your kids to school? Or can it wait? So the response time is a decision we have to make. And number 4 is the reward. Rewards are the end goal of every habit. The reward reinforces the habit and makes it worth remembering in the future. Your brain predicted that it would happen when it notices the cue. For example, feeling connected after responding to a text reinforces the habit of checking your phone when it lights up. So you have the cue, the phone lights up. You see that Sue called, let's just use Sue. Then you said, oh, I really want to talk to her. But then the response is, can I do it right now? Is it a good time? Is it really as important to me? And for the reward is when you pick up the phone and you check in your phone, you're going, yes, it's her. I want to check my phone. Now, let's use the example of Pilates with that 4-step process. So let's break it down. You see your Pilates mat rolled out in your favorite corner of the room. This is your cue. You're your brain signals you, ooh, Pilates, awesome. I really want to feel great right now. And you start immediately feeling the way you feel after you did your Pilates mat class. So now you're giving into this craving, and you start your Pilates class. So the response is that the workout engages you fully and you gave into your cravings. Afterward, you feel fantastic, energized, and super relaxed and strong. The feeling is your reward, and it's powerful because it confirms the benefits of your Pilates practice. Each time you experience this reward, it cements its habit even more deeply. By understanding this cycle, we can leverage Pilates or anything else or any other habit and make it a regular part of your life. So let's explore how we can apply this understanding to transform our daily actions into stepping stones towards that personal mastery that we're talking about today. But I also want you to listen to episode 173, 3 easy ways how you can make Pilates a habit over 50. And I will leave a link in the show notes for you as well. So let's dive into the 5 transformative habits for midlife mastery. And the number one habit is prioritize self-care. Taking care of ourselves, especially as women, falls by the wayside or on the bottom of the to-do list. By neglecting our self-care, we can profoundly affect our physical and mental well-being and our emotional resilience. So let's dive into why self-care is not a luxury, but a crucial aspect of living well, especially as we're navigating midlife. And here's a statistic from the National Institute of Mental Health, which I think ties in with the aspect of self-care. And they state that the prevalence of major depression episodes is higher among adult females, that's 10.5%, compared to males, that it's 6.2%. So when we're talking about our emotional resilience, our mental and physical well-being, this number is reflecting that we are not taking care as well of ourselves as we could. Self-care is fundamental to maintaining balance in our lives. When we consider overlooking basic self-care practices and that have nothing to do with a luxury spa is such as not getting enough sleep, eating nutritious foods, exercising, taking time to relax, we can quickly see how detrimental that is to our health. Have you had nights where you toss and turn, whether it may be night sweats or just cause? I'm 63, and just last night, I woke up at 1 in the morning. Yes, 1 a.m. And I felt refreshed, like I had slept all night. But I went to bed at 10 o'clock and I slept till 1. And I was trying to go back to sleep. I was counting numbers. I was trying not to think about work or anything else, and trying to get back to sleep. And I did at some point. And I know so many of you can relate to my story here of not sleeping. But what do you feel like the next day? I always say, I feel like a hammer has hit me over the head. I am fuzzy. I have no energy. I just feel out of it. I can't concentrate as well. So it is important. And this is an aspect of self-care. And I know some people shake their heads and like, oh, this self-care thing is baloney, but I don't think so. Self-care is everything that's important to us women in midlife, whether it's taking care of menopause, taking care of our health, taking care of our exercise, eating healthy. So physically, because of that neglect, our bodies become more susceptible to illness, fatigue. If I couldn't take an afternoon nap on my story I just told you, I will be toast for the rest of the day. And at least I can get a short nap in. And I always take a half an hour a day for my nap. Even if I don't sleep, I rest. And even on a night where I sleep well, I do the same thing. It's very helpful for me. It also helps me de-stress. And when we are not taking care of ourselves, our bodies, our mentally, we also get injured much more quickly. Mentally, the lack of self-care can lead to increased stress, anxiety, and depression. You can relate to, and I use the sleep example, when you haven't slept, how tired you are, and you're depressed because nothing gets done. Your day is all toast and you feel like really sleepy, and you want to make a difference. So make it harder to cope with daily pressure and challenges. Is the whole package. And again, I'm just using sleep because I just happened to me 2 days ago before recording this episode. Emotionally, without adequate self-care, our ability to maintain emotional stability and building resilience is super compromised. So by prioritizing health, or not healthcare, but our health and our self-care, we enhance our health, mood, and equip ourselves to face life's challenges with greater strength and clarity. So don't put yourself at the bottom of the list. If you have this habit of I'm last, it will be fine. So as always, I'm all about taking action. And here's some practical strategies. Integrating self-care into an even hectic schedule can seem challenging or even stressful, but you can significantly impact your well-being with a few strategy practices that I'm going to outline here. So let's start with morning mindfulness. So instead of zipping out the bed or grabbing your phone, checking your email, do this. Dedicate just 5 to 10 minutes each morning to mindful exercises. This could be a short meditation, a breathing exercise, or sitting quietly with a cup of tea, and I use fennel for this, to begin the day. Setting the tone for the day can help reduce stress and increases mental clarity, even on a day or a night where you haven't slept. So morning mindfulness. And number 2 is midday movement. Incorporate short Pilates sessions or stretches during your lunch break or in between meetings. And if you're watching, or when you're watching this episode, I'm stretching up and I'm bringing my arms overhead and just letting my shoulders relax so it feels good even while I'm recording this episode. Even a 1, 2, and I go up to 10-minute session can improve your circulation, enhance your focus, and boost your energy levels for the rest of the day. It is that simple. And sometimes we don't give those little midday breaks or mini micro movements the credit they deserve. If you work from home, like I do, set a timer. If you get stuck on your computer and know you will be typing away for the next couple hours, that you move every hour. Just stretching will be great. Or just actually taking a deep breath in, because we all are shallow breathers. And when we're focused and on a task, we breathe even less. And number 3 is the evening unwind. Instead of rushing around trying to get dinner right away and checking the kids' homework or, rushing around, establish a calming routine to help signal your body it's time to wind down, it's time for a break. And this might involve a specific skincare routine that you like to do. Reading a book, writing in your journal, unwinding from the day, writing all the stuff down that bothers you, that you will take with you to go to sleep. And try to disconnect from electronic devices at least an hour before bedtime to improve your sleep quality. That's basically a given. That's like sleep hygiene 101. These small manageable actions can help build up over time, or they can help build up your habits over time, improving physical health and mental well-being without requiring a major overhaul on your schedule. Start with one of these tips, not all of them, and make self-care more approachable and less like another task on your to-do list. And I'd love to hear which one you're starting with. So reach out to me after you listen to the rest of the show. Have you said this before or somebody else around you? You can't teach an old dog a new trick. I'm set in my ways, or that's just the way I do things. And this brings me to habit number 2, cultivate adaptability. Cultivating adaptability in midlife is essential, yet so many of us have fears and resistance to change, particularly in our health and lifestyle routines. So here are 5 common failures that I have come across that I have also faced, truth be told. And number 1 is the fear of failure. Many in midlife worry that the new things and the new lifestyle we try, like a new exercise program or a new diet, we might not succeed. And this fear can paralyze us to take action. But this fear often comes from past experiences and the high stakes people perceive as they age. So what if I fail? What's the worst thing that can happen? I always say when I hear somebody tell me that. What's the worst thing that can happen? You dust yourself off, you try again, or maybe you try something different. Number 2 is comfort with current routines. Routines have become very comfortable and so familiar over the years. So why would we change them? Breaking out of these feelings can be daunting because stepping into the unknown can be inherently uncomfortable and require new energy and motivation that might feel scarce in midlife. Motivation is a big one when I hear you guys talk about how you may or may not be motivated to do your workout, or that everything is just a little harder and it just takes a little longer. And because we're just a little bit older, that's just normal. But getting stuck in a comfort routine can be soothing and safe. But what if you decided to do something different? What could be the outcome? Ooh. I'm getting all excited talking about this. Number 3 is physical limitations. As we age, we face physical limitations that we didn't have to deal with in younger years. And I just talked to my client about this, where she said, "Oh man, I used to run." And I raised my hand and I said, "Yeah, I used to too, till about almost 2 years now." And she says, "I miss it." And I said, "I miss it too. But we're now looking for something else." And you cannot believe it. I told her about that she might try out water aerobics. And she says, "Oh, I don't know the water. And is this really a good workout?" And I said, "Try it out." And so just today, yes, of this recording, she said, "Heike, I'm going to water aerobics after our session." I was like, "What? What happened?" She says, "I love it. Nothing hurts after the workout." And she's 75 and she has knee issues and all kinds of other problems, which I don't want to mention here. But let's not let those physical limitations be the end of all. Don't fear. Keep going. There's always something else you can do. Number 4 is time constraints. Midlife often involves more responsibilities, caring for our parents, managing a demanding career. You build it up now you want to rock it, or support your grown children, or babysit your grandkids. These responsibilities can make it feel like there isn't enough time in the day to make any changes to adopt new habits or invest in health and fitness for yourself. And number 5 is the perceived, air quotes here, age appropriateness. Societal or internalized beliefs about what is appropriate for specific ages in terms of lifestyle, diet, or exercise can deter anyone from pursuing new activities that might seem geared towards younger people, fearing judgment or feeling out of place. All right, here goes. On my birthday this year, my 36th birthday, we went to the Dominican Republic on an all-inclusive resort, which is something we never do, but may as it be, we just decided this was a great idea. And there was not enough activity for me, which my husband was really worried about. And we were there, and I walked a lot up and down the beach. There was a long beach, 1.5 miles one way and 1.5 miles the other way. It was really great. And then I read I listened to my books, which I prefer. And I was like, wanted to do some more. So I did water aerobics. And you may have seen my Instagram video. I did water aerobics in the ocean. I was like, okay. And then we got to the pool at some point one day, and I'm just sitting there. I'm thinking, oh, I want to move. And they had a salsa class on the other side of the pool. So I tied my little towel around my hip, my little scarf, and I said, I'm going over. I'm going to take a salsa class. Everybody in that class was way younger than I was. I mean, I know how to dance salsa. If you've been following me, you know I've started dancing with salsa and salsa rueda. But I just wanted to move, and I didn't care if people looked at me, and I didn't care if they were younger. I just felt great. So don't let those 5 perceived fears and resistances to change your midlife change what you're going to do. Get over this. Get moving on. Understand those fears and resistances is the first step to overcoming them. Recognize these common feelings can help individuals in midlife feel less isolated in their experiences and more empowered to embrace change. Yes, that's you right here, the listener. Now, the number, and I want to bring this in, there's another stat. I did a little bit of research for this episode about habits and what's going on with our health. The number one killer of both men and women is heart disease. Heart disease is the leading cause of death in the United States. Let me say that again. The number one killer for both men and women is heart disease, which is the leading cause of death in the United States, according to the Centers of Disease Control and Prevention. One person dies every 34 seconds, and women are often underdiagnosed. So focus on your healthy habits. Don't let those 5 fears hold you back. Cultivate an adaptable mindset. Be flexible in mind and body. And it's not about managing changes or just getting by. It's about thriving through them. I'm all about helping you get unstuck and thrive. And a flexible mindset allows you to see challenges as an opportunity for growth rather than an obstacle to growth and happiness. And this perspective can lead to significant improvements in both, again, physical and mental health and overall quality of life. And by embracing those changes, you can discover how to stay active. Try out new diets practices. Dive deeper into methods of self-care that resonate with your needs. And I'm just giving you examples here, but what is it that you need? It's always on the forefront. What I need is different. And this openness enhances your ability to handle life's transitions and enriches your daily experiences, leading to greater satisfaction. Who doesn't want to be happy? And well-being as we age. So let's embrace adaptability, which means you're learning and growing, improving, which keeps life a heck of a lot more fun and engaging and full of possibilities. And on to number 3, habit number 3, embracing new fitness strategies. Breaking up with old habits, embracing new strategies is crucial in midlife as our bodies and our needs evolve. The comfortable and familiar, which I talked already about, of our usual routines can be safe, reassuring, less fearless, but they may no longer be as effective or even safe as we age. In this stage of life, we often require a shift towards exercises that are kinder to our joints, hence Pilates, incorporating more functional movements that translate into our everyday activities and support cardiovascular health without excessive strain. That doesn't mean that you can't be an athlete. And you may be smirking and say, Heike, what are you talking about? Athlete. To me, everybody's an athlete. Anybody that exercises, and it may be oversimplistic, but I'm okay with that. You know, we have the weekend warriors that do most of their hard workouts on the weekends. Others spread it out during the week. Others do more, some do less. But there's some that do nothing. And they're not athletes. An athlete for me is somebody who wants to exercise, even if you need a little loving kick in the buttski, because your motivation is maybe lagging sometimes, which is normal for all of us. But changing things around now is the time to look at, like I said earlier too, and I said it before, is I can't run anymore. I have really bad arthritis in my knee and a torn meniscus, and the outcome from the doctor was a full total knee replacement 2 years ago. And I said, let's wait a minute. This is a little too early for me. And personally, I would not run on a knee replacement unless I have to run across the street or things like that. But these parts are made out of metal and plastic, and I did a whole research on that, and I would not want to repeat a knee replacement surgery again if I can help it. So I started walking and hiking, and that's way better for my knee, and I'm knocking on wood, 1, 2, 3, is that I can keep that knee healthy for a long, long time. But I had to switch of my fitness strategies. So if you've been a long distance runner, the pounding might be harder on your knees and hips, way harder than it used to be. Maybe you want to switch to swimming, cycling like I did, or of course Pilates, to maintain your fitness while reducing the risk of injury and additional pain. In additionally, strength training, of course, you know, strength training is Pilates is a form of strength training, and so is weights and bands, will help you combat the loss of muscle mass and increase bone density as we age. So that's, again, for overall health and mobility. So change what you're doing. Also, if you're doing weights and you've been doing the same weight routine since you're in your 30s, time to change things up and see what your body is benefiting more now that you're in midlife. And midlife is the perfect time to reevaluate our goals. I'm competitive. I love to do races. But I also back then, I focused way more on what I looked like especially during my bodybuilding years, and whether I made podium in my triathlon years. And don't be intimidated by what I did. I'm just a nutcase, and I like to challenges and like to do crazy things. And it could be for you that you just wanted to be more toned, and that for you, walking a 5K is awesome, and that was your goal, and that's awesome. So we all have different goals, but now it's time to shift our focus on sustainability. Can we continue doing that exercise? Flexibility, mobility, and endurance. Think of heart health, to live a longer, healthier years to come. This shift helps maintain physical health and boosts mental well-being, providing a new sense of purpose and achievement in fitness endeavors. Remember the story with my client who went to water aerobics? She would have never in a million years thought that she was going to do water aerobics, and she loves it. And she says, it's a great workout without pain. So embracing these new strategies can just be invigorating, and it's interesting and lead to a deeper, more satisfying relationship with your body and its capabilities. Habit number 4 is all about community and social connections. Because navigating midlife can often feel isolating. The kids are grown if you had kids. Or like in my case, half of my family lives in Europe, the other half is an hour drive away. But the support of a community can be a game changer, aside from the family. Connecting with others who share similar goals or challenges does more than just provide social interactions. It energizes our spirits and motivates us to maintain our health and fitness goals. A supportive community acts like a mirror, reflecting our potential and pushing us towards it, even when our motivation is on and off at times, which again is normal. We are the sum of 5 of our best friends, said Chris Brown in our recent interview on the Pursue Your Spark podcast. I leave a link in the show notes for you for episode 212, where we talk about how to keep the weight off for good in midlife with Jill Coslin and Chris Brown. And Chris said, "You're the sum of your 5 best friends." I never thought of it that way. Have you? Again, let me know. I want to know. Whether it's a walking class, a Pilates class, or an online forum like the Pursue Your Spark Club that helps you support you and provides accountability, encouragement, and invaluable exchanges of wisdom and support. Yeah, we women know a ton of stuff, and it never fails. I always learn something from my podcast guests, but also from my friends and my clients, because we all live in different niches in our life, and we learn different things. And we are so caring and sharing, for the most part, that we learn from each other. Embracing these connections can transform the journey, turning what might have been a solo struggle into a shared adventure. And it enriches our life's physical and emotional well-being. And a buddy system is great for accountability. Now, you heard me say that a support system sometimes is good and sometimes it lets you down. And I cannot tell you who that person is, but I got to respond to one of the episodes, and that was episode 169, The Astonishing Power of Feeling Connected for Women in the Midlife Challenges, featuring Jen Marples. I'll leave a link in the show note for you to listen to that episode, because this episode sparked the listener reaching out to me. She preferred not to talk about where she lives and what her name is, but I want to read to you what she shared with me. I'm 46 and have been a Pilates teacher for 25 years. A few days ago, I was unexpectedly let go from a studio where I taught a wonderful group of middle-aged women for 5 years. I was told my teaching philosophy needed to align with the studio's direction. Interestingly, they also dismissed another seasoned teacher. This experience has reinforced my belief in the need for a community of strong women leaders. Leaders who can stand up and be role models for others, just like you. I recently listened to your podcast interview with Jen Marples, and I was inspired by your discussion on fostering support and kindness across industries, bringing people together rather than driving them apart. In light of these events, I'm considering starting my own business once I've had some time to process everything. But I felt compelled to reach out and express how refreshing it is to have such a dedicated advocate for the older generation, those who often feel overlooked. We have wisdom that the younger generation lacks, and it disheartens me to see industries, like in her case, Pilates, prioritize profit over connection, personal values, and building a safe, trusting environment where women can share their stories. Thank you for sharing your wisdom. Your words deeply resonated with me today, providing a much-needed uplift through a tough time. I am an experienced teacher and skilled in building relationships that allow to thrive and shine as they age. Thank you for sharing those deep thoughts of what happened to you and your community. But we're at Pursue Your Spark. We're igniters. We're here for you and anybody else that likes to join our community and reach out to us. So let's dive into habit 5, integrating technology for empowerment. Not all technology is bad. In today's age, technology offers unprecedented opportunities to enhance our lives, especially as we're navigating midlife. We all been on computers. We all have a phone or some other gadget, watches, and things like that to track our fitness, help us remind us to do things or eat things. Technology can be super powerful in our wellness toolkit. I always have a toolkit for everything. From fitness tracking apps that help monitor our progress and health metrics to online platforms connecting us to communities with similar health and fitness goals. This week, somebody reached out to me. Was it this week? Yes, it was this week. Somebody reached out to me and was interested in working with me. And I didn't know in what capacity, whether in one of our group training programs or individual 12-week program. And we had an in-depth conversation about her goals. And she signed up for the 12-week online individual training where I designed the workouts for her, communicate with her through a online platform. And I wrote the program for her, and we are constantly in contact every week to see how the progress is going so I can tailor everything to her progress and to her needs and her lifestyle. And I've never seen her in person other than on Zoom. And it's fantastic that I can help somebody that's not coming to me in person with technology that allows me to help somebody be healthier, stronger, and have more energy, which were all three on the top of her list. So let's check out some of those fitness apps that you may have already heard of. By integrating tracking your fitness, diet, and mental health can significantly empower you to providing details for your health. The MyFitnessPal. There's only mentioned two because there's a ton out there. But MyFitnessPal is an app that we also use in the Pursue Your Spark Blueprint course. And it's an excellent way to track your habits, track your nutrition. It helps you monitor your food intake and has an enormous database that helps you keep track of what it is that you're actually doing so that you get results. And you can totally customize MyFitnessPal. There's a free version that you can have. It's not as extravagant as the paid version, but check it out and see if this is something that you like to implement, because this app also allows for customizing your fitness and nutrition goals and tailored recommendation and insight for what you need. So they become quite sophisticated. The other app that I really like is Calm. This app is known for its extensive range of guided meditations, sleep stories, and breathing exercises designed to reduce stress and anxiety. Calm offers a beginner to advanced level sessions and making it accessible for anyone to look at start to deepen their meditation practice. And again, there's so many other apps out there, and I don't want to make this podcast about the apps, but I want to give you a nudge in the right direction to see what works for you and how you can integrate technology into your day that is beneficial, and it helps you proactively manage your health, especially now that things are changing around. Now, we also have virtual fitness and learning opportunities, incorporating fitness platforms and online learning opportunities can fit easily into your daily routine, like the client who signed up for my 12-week course with me. She does the workouts whenever she has time. She lets me know she did the workouts. I can give feedback. She gives me feedback on how things were going, and I can give feedback to her without having to be on an 8 a.m. Tuesday morning slot. It's fantastic. And this is also true. For instance, a tailored specific workout is Pursue Your Spark Blueprint. I mentioned it today. The 8-week online program is an excellent choice for fitness, nutrition, strength training, Pilates, and healthy nutrition plus intermittent fasting. If you're looking to just want to add some more fitness into your day, you have the Fearlessly Fit Club Over 50. And then if you're just not sure where you want to start, but you want a little bit of Pilates and a little bit of nutrition advice, and maybe start a little bit with intermittent fasting. The Fasted and Fit Over 50 Jumpstart is your ticket. I leave a link for all those in the show notes so you can check them out and see which one is right for you and join us, because these platforms help maintain physical fitness, encourage mental and emotional growth, make it an excellent addition to your daily routine. And then you go back and listen to the podcast maybe again and you say, I know how to overcome those fears because Heike showed me how. Use your social media wisely. Yes, it can be a great way to stay connected with your family, with your friends, with some people that don't live close by, with new stories that you read on social, or posting your vacation pictures or your last meal you had, or whatever it is. Or you can join some groups that are about cooking or about knitting or about running. They're all there for you, but use them wisely because they can be an amazing support for your endeavors. You can build really great networks and create and foster these communities and learn from like-minded people. Like I mentioned earlier, the people that I come across or my guests or my clients, that we share things that interest us and goals and new hobbies that can be so beneficial. And again, you might want to check out the Pursue Your Spark Club on Facebook and join us and hop into the conversation. We'll talk about everything, and I'll talk about everything in this group. I'd love to hear from you. If you have questions, how this episode resonated with you, please email me at heike@heikeyates.com with the subject line Mastery. And I'm here for you to support you on your journey. And if today's episode resonated with you, if you're looking for the clear next step, the no obligation 20-minute Spark Breakthrough Call is it. It's direct to the point, and it could be the nudge you need towards real change. Slots are limited because we are focusing on quality, actionable steps. So don't wait for someday, make it today. I'll leave a link in the show notes. And with that, Igniters, I am out of here. You have the most amazing day, and I'll see you next time on the Pursue Your Spark podcast. Ciao.